What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. The time has come to talk... What the flip? What the flip, dude? The time has come to talk about my healer main. The timing of that could not have been better. That was great. What's my healer main going to be in 10.2? We're getting closer and closer to the patch being released. I'm still pretty confident it's going to be released in early November. And we're about halfway through October now. Oh, my God. Get away from me. This guy keeps wanting to do me. Oh, my God. I think we're about, we're going to be close to the release date of the patch probably in about a month, which in my mind makes me feel like the tuning is almost done. I think that we have about 1 or 2 more weeks of serious tuning, and then they're going to pack it all up and make sure that they're just fixing bugs, make sure that the raid is good to go, all that stuff. So I am pretty confident in where all the different specs are sitting right now. I'm going to rate my healers here. Not rate them so much as just tell you which one I'm going to be basically maining in 10.2. And hopefully give you guys some encouragement to play these different healers, why they're good, why they're bad, and all those kinds of stuff. So I'm going to make sure that I dive into all that. One by one, I'm going to talk about each of them. Now, starting with Preservation Evoker, I am not going to even cover Preservation Evoker because I just don't play it. I just don't. And if that's a disappointment to some of you, I'm sorry, but I don't really know enough about the spec. I've never really played it, and I don't plan to, so I'm just not going to cover it. It gets a 0 from me, okay? Just not my jam. The rest of the healers, though, we are going to rank starting with Resto Druid. Right, so Resto Druid, let's talk about that. I've really been enjoying, actually, my recent experimentations with Resto Druid. I've been doing some stuff on the PTR, trying out the new Grove Guardians. I tried it out in this Throne of Tides, which is the brand new dungeon that just kind of got announced a week ago or so, and we've been doing some testing on it. I think that Resto Druid is going to be in potentially the best place that it has been in quite a while, particularly because of Grove Guardians. Resto Druids, their ability to deal with triage damage, like a lot of heavy triage in Mythic Plus, is very difficult. That's why I've traditionally shied away from them, because I do most of my healing in Mythic Plus, and I just don't really like the way that Resto Druid heals. But the way that it's been changing recently on the PTR with Grove Guardians and the new tier set bonus that focuses on Grove Guardians as well has really been an encouraging sign for Resto Druid, and this is absolutely something I'm going to be experimenting with in the next patch. This is not going to be my main healer for sure, because I just don't have enough time or practice put into it yet. But I'm absolutely going to experiment with this once I've really gotten a bunch of gear and done some content on my main characters. I'm going to dip into Resto Druid and give this a really good shot, because I am enjoying it on the PTR. I am enjoying some of the testing that I've been doing. I think it's actually in a pretty good place now in terms of being able to deal with that heavy triage damage that's coming out. So we'll see. I still don't like the way that Resto Druid does damage, because you have to spend so much time ramping your spells, your healing spells. Like, I'm going to spend 4 or 5 GCDs just putting hots on this tank. That's like 4 or 5 GCDs I can't spend doing damage. A lot of the other healers, they have more bursty healing profiles, and so they're able to get their healing out in like 1 or 2 button presses, and boom, somebody's like fully healed, like a Paladin, right? Or a Disc Priest, and then they can get back to doing damage. And Resto Druid, I think, kind of struggles with that. So I need to play around with it more. I need to give it a really good shake. I think Resto Druid is actually in a really good place. If you want to try it out at home, you definitely should try it out. It's still amazing in Raid. One of the best healers for Raid, because you can ramp into the damage that's coming out. You know exactly when it's coming. For Mythic Plus, I think it's in a good place now, but I'd like to see a little bit more love, but again, I need to really play it a lot more to know. If you're thinking of trying out Resto Druid in 10.2, you should. I think it's actually in a really good spot, okay? That being said, let's move on to Holy Paladin. Right, so Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin, of course, has been like the meta healer for quite a while, right? It's been in the top of the Mythic Plus and even in the rating scene, but it's been absolutely the top in the Mythic Plus scene for quite a while now. Now, I think it's still going to be good in 10.2. Their tier set bonus is a little bit boring, which is what I'm really measuring things by. My excitement for playing a class really boils down to the tier set bonus, any changes that were made to the class. I think Holy Paladin is going to be absolutely fine in 10.2. If you're thinking of playing it, it's going to be very, very strong. It is not going to be my main, mostly because it's going to be really meta, probably, and I don't love the way that it plays. I really love the way some of the other healers play. I'm not in love with how Holy Paladin plays right now. So that's my main reason for not wanting to go for it. And the tier set bonus is kind of just more of the same, right? You're getting this extra hot or dot, depending on what you're holy shocking, wherever your glimmers are, right? So to me, that's just kind of boring. It's more of the same. There isn't really anything interesting going on there. That really turns me off of a spec going into a new patch. I want something new and exciting. So it's not that Holy Paladin's going to be bad. It's going to be actually quite good, I think. I think their tier set bonus is like boring but strong, one of those categories, right? So if you're thinking of playing Holy Paladin in the coming patch, it's very strong. Daybreak being a 45-second cooldown and giving you 25% haste, really, really crazy strong. So Holy Paladin is in a good spot. I think it's going to be fine for Mythic Plus healing. It's going to have that really great burst profile. You kind of have this sort of interesting thing in terms of setting up your glimmers and having your glimmers proc your tier set bonus, but really it's too boring for me personally. And I think that it's probably going to end up being one of the meta healers again, which is another reason why I don't want to play it, because that's just kind of how I roll. So Holy Paladin, strong in 10.2, will not be my main. Okay, let's move on to Holy Priest. Right, Holy Priest. So, Holy Priest has been really enjoyable. It's been a really good alt healer for me in this current patch. And I think that, unfortunately, going into the next patch, 10.2, it looks like Discipline Priest tier set bonus is way more exciting and interesting than the Holy Priest one. It's not to say that the Holy Priest one is bad. You're basically getting a bunch of free charges on your holy words, which is your best, your best abilities that you have, right? So your strongest heals. Very, very cool. I love getting essentially free uses of those really powerful spells. I think that is awesome to have. And I also think that it's going to maybe make Mastery a really important stat for Holy Priest going into 10.2. You might be able to really leverage the heavy-hitting holy words to get a huge Mastery proc on everybody. And also, you're going to be getting a bunch of free renews with this new tier set bonus for Holy. So I think the amount of healing that's going to be coming out of this tier set bonus for Holy Priest is going to be really, really good. However, what I'm frustrated by in terms of what Blizzard is doing is there's only a certain number of the healers that are getting DPS increases as well as HPS increases from their tier set bonus. So, for example, Disc Priest and Holy Paladin that we just talked about with the Glimmer stuff and then Preservation Evoker, all three of those, their tier set bonuses are going to give you damage and healing. Holy Priest is only getting healing. And I think it would be really nice to see Blizzard balance out the healers and give them just more of a fair shake. So it feels like if you're going to play Priest in 10.2, I think Disc Priest is like clearly the better choice just from a tier set bonus standpoint. It's just so much more fun, so much more interesting to think about with the whole Smite interaction. So yes, I like Holy Priest. I like that they're getting their holy words cooled down more. I think that they still have really good utility with things like PI and Mind Soothe and Mass Dispel. Even though Mass Dispel is getting nerfed, there's still pretty good utility with a Priest in your group. There's nothing wrong with playing Holy. I do think, though, that Discipline Priest is going to have the edge going into 10.2, and I'm not really going to have very much time, I don't think, to play my Holy Priest in 10.2. That's just so it's not going to be my main. If it's something that you want to play, just understand, I think it's powerful. I think that the tier set bonus is strong from a healing standpoint. I think it'll be really, really good in Raid. I think it'll be fine in Mythic Plus 2, especially if you take Miracle Worker to get 2 charges of your Holy Word so that you're constantly, like, refreshing. You're basically never going to run out of charges. But it's not getting any extra damage like some of the other healers are, and that's kind of frustrating to me. So a little frustrated by it. I do think it's going to be strong, and we'll have to see how it goes in 10.2. If you want to play it, by all means, pick it up. It's not going to be my main. Let's move on to Disc Priest, okay? Right, so Disc Priest, and you'll notice the exact same clip here. Basically, I ran the same dungeon back again on my Priest the other day, and I just think one of the major differences between Disc and Holy is that Disc has 0 mana problems because you get access to Mindbender, and you can cool Mindbender down if you want to do that build, which I think that build is going to be very strong in with the new tier set bonus in Mythic Plus. I think it's going to be super, super strong. This interaction that you're getting, the ability to extend your atonements, and the fact that you're going to be doing extra damage, like I said, and extra healing, you're getting to double dip there as a Disc Priest. I just think it's going to be so strong in 10.2. Even the current tier set bonus for Disc Priest is super strong, giving you those supercharged power word radiances. But on top of there being a really good tier set bonus for Disc Priest, they're also getting these amazing talent changes. And if you haven't seen my video on Disc Priest, go check it out. They're getting a brand new ability called Ultimate Penitence, which is you basically fire off like 20 penances, and you can actually cool down that ability and make it come back even quicker. And then also a bunch of your abilities that used to be really annoying setup buttons, things like Shadow Covenant, things like Schism, they're going passive now. So you don't have to worry about pressing 4 or 5 buttons to get set up into your ramp window as a Disc Priest. You just press your opening couple of buttons and you're into your ramp, easy peasy. You basically spawn your Mindbender and it takes care of all those other buttons for you. It gets you into Shadow Covenant, it activates Schism. It's really, really good. I think Mind Blast actually activates Schism now. But the point is, they've really streamlined so many of the talents, and it feels to me like somebody was really paying attention to Disc Priest and made it really, really fun to play, made some amazing changes compared to Holy Priest, and I just don't really understand why there's such a massive difference. But it is what it is. If you're thinking of playing Priest in 10.2, Disc Priest is the clear choice, in my opinion, compared to Holy Priest. The tier set is better. Brand new ability called Ultimate Penitence. It's super fun to play with. Brand new talent changes that make it more fun to play, easier to play, better to understand. It's going to be a fantastic spec in 10.2. I can't wait to play it. I'm definitely going to be playing this as an alt for me. It's not going to be my main healer, but it's absolutely going to be the second alt, I think, that I'm going to be playing in terms of my healers. So if you want to play a healer in 10.2, Disc Priest is an awesome choice. All right, let's move on to, what are we doing next? Resto Shaman. All right, Resto Shaman, baby. This is, oh man, this is such a tight race between Resto Shaman and Mistweaver Monk, which I'll talk about in a minute. This thing is so much fun to play, and the tier set bonus going into patch 10.2 is going to be really incredible. We're basically getting a Riptide Beacon, right? So Holy Paladin gets those beacons that you put on people, and then all of your other healing will go into the beacon target. Basically in 10.2, Resto Shaman is getting a Riptide Beacon. So you hit somebody with like a healing wave, and it puts this little beacon on them, and then all your Riptide healing will go into that target. So that means that there's essentially a shift in terms of the build priority. We're no longer doing builds that focus on Chain Heal. We can do builds that focus on Riptide. We can take Primal Tidal Core again. We can focus on a couple of other spells that are going to extend the duration of Riptide. Make Riptide, its upfront heal hit a lot harder. We also got buffs to our single target healing. Riptide and Healing Wave and Healing Surge all got buffed. Our AoE healing went down a little bit, but I think it's going to create a new style of healing for Resto Shaman where you can sort of have healing stream totems down. They're ticking on people. You can be spot healing people, and it's all going to be funneling into those little mini beacons that you have going. It's going to feel a little bit more like a Holy Paladin, in my opinion, which I think is actually super fun. On top of that, of course, Resto Shaman has the best kick in the game. Shaman has the best kick in the game, in my opinion, a ranged 12-second kick. You have amazing utility with Cap Totem. You can slow enemies. You can get rid of fears with the Tremor Totem. You've got big cooldowns like Spirit Link and Ascendance. You have AG. I mean, your damage is like really easy to get going. You just put down an Acid Rain. I'm doing 50k damage right now with basically just a Healing Rain and one Flame Shock out. It's kind of insane how much damage you can do on a Resto Shaman and how quickly you can do that. Excuse me. So I'm excited about the tier set bonus. I'm excited about Resto Shaman in 10.2. This is going to be my main alt healer. This is going to be probably the healer that I'm doing a ton of my Mythic Plus keys on. I'll talk about why it's my main alt in a little bit, but realistically speaking, I think I'm also playing Elemental Shaman. I'm going to be playing it a lot in 10.2. So this Shaman is going to be super geared, and this thing's not really going to be an alt. You guys know me. I like to play multiple specs. This is going to be like my second main spec that I'm playing because I'm really excited about everything that it has to offer, especially the tier set bonus. It's an exciting, interesting thing to play around with, and the damage and the utility is always good. So if you're thinking of playing Resto Shaman, please, it's going to be solid in 10.2. You should absolutely pick it up. Let's get to my number 1 pick, which is going to be Mistweaver Monk. Right, Mistweaver Monk, let's go. I have been doing so much Mistweaver Monk. As you guys have probably seen over the past couple of months, I've really been enjoying it. And in 10.2, Mistweaver Monk has had some really interesting changes. Number 1, their tier set bonus is annoying to me. It's like boring but strong. Getting a crazy, crazy healing boost on people after you cast Renewing Mist on them is pretty good, but it's not really... It's sort of counterintuitive to how you want to use Renewing Mist, in my opinion, as a Mistweaver Monk. You don't really want to use Renewing Mist and then immediately start, triaging somebody. You just want to triage them. You don't want to take that extra GCD. Renewing Mist is something you set up ahead of time. But this works quite well with the Fist Weaving of Mistweaver Monk, because if you press your Rising Sun kick, it will add a Renewing Mist to somebody, and that Renewing Mist will get the tier set bonus that online. So there's actually some interesting synergy that way. I think it's actually going to be quite strong. It's going to be a little bit boring in my opinion, but I think very, very strong. So I'm happy to play around with it. Now, this is a bad little clip here. What am I doing here? We're all dead. I think he pulled too many ticks here. Anyway, the point is, this is going to be a good set. Now, the extra utility, of course, coming into Mistweaver Monk is always going to be super strong, right? You have a kick, which is good. Unfortunately, priests are the only healers without kicks now. But you have Ring of Peace, you have your leg sweep, and you have really, really strong defensive tools. Fort Brew, Dampen Harm. You'll always be able to heal yourself. There's a new change coming to Expel Harm, which is going to be awesome. Expel Harm is going to be a massive self-heal now, and it's going to be used for damage. I was looking on the PTR. My Expel Harm is doing like 140,000 healing. It'll heal me for 140,000 damage, or health, sorry, and then it will deal 25% of that damage to a nearby enemy, so you can use it as a big DPS tool. I think this is kind of flying under the radar right now. It's going to be interesting to see how well this operates, how much damage this ends up doing, and how much self-healing. They also made Healing Elixir like passive, so you now are going to get a Healing Elixir proccing when you get low, and you now have Expel Harm to replace Healing Elixir as an active heal on yourself. So I think you should be really, really tanky with that, and the Expel Harm damage I think is going to be quite strong. The final big change that they made to the spec talent tree for Mistweaver Monk is that they took 1 point out of one of the Feline Stomp talents, making it so that we have an extra point now at the bottom of our tree to mess around with, which is super, super cool. So now I'm going to be experimenting with what talent I want to take at the bottom of the tree. I'm thinking of Tea of Plenty or Tea of Serenity, possibly double dipping into when I press my Thunder Focus Tea, getting those extra procs on my abilities is very, very powerful, and I'm interested to see kind of how that shapes up. So the Mistweaver stuff, I think, is very, very, very exciting, actually. The tier set bonus is going to be a little bit boring, in my opinion, but I think that overall, Mistweaver is going to be in a really strong place with the Expel Harm change, the Healing Elixir change. The new Mana Tea thing has always been in there, and my experience doing dungeons with the new Mana Tea is that I never run out of mana. So, again, a healer that doesn't run out of mana, very similar to Disc Priest, is going to be really, really great. That's always a huge plus where you don't have to sit and drink every 2 seconds. And then the damage coming into Mistweaver Monk has always been really strong. Again, I think the addition of Expel Harm is going to be really good. So, my #1 pick is going to be Mistweaver Monk. And the last thing I forgot to mention is that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be raiding as a Mistweaver Monk with the new raid team that I'm on now. So I'm pretty sure they want me as a Mistweaver Monk. I'm going to give them an option to pick basically whatever healer they want me to play. But I've been trialing with them as a Mistweaver Monk. It's been going pretty well, and I think that that's likely what I'm going to be playing in the new raid as well. That's another reason why this is going to be my main healer that I'm going to be gearing up right away, because I'm going to need it for the raid as well. So I'm very excited to play Mistweaver Monk. I'm very excited, honestly, for so many of the healers. Let me just run down a little list here. My #1 is going to be Mistweaver Monk, followed very, very closely by Resto Shaman. Those two are going to kind of be like neck and neck, okay? Right after that, I think I'm going to be trying out Disc Priest because of the new Ultimate Penitence. It's going to be really, really fun. After that, I don't really know. I think it's going to be Resto Druid that I want to try and dip into because I haven't really played it seriously in a long time, and I really want to give it a try and get a feel for what it's like. So those are going to be like the 4 healers that I'm mostly spending my time on, with the main 2 being Mistweaver and Resto Shaman. And then I'm going to do a video soon about what DPS characters I'm going to be playing as well, because that has also changed, so stay tuned for that video. But those are my healers, guys, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think that you're going to play as a healer main in 10.2? I hope I gave you some pros and cons for why each healer is good and why they might be bad, why I'm personally going to think about playing it or not playing it. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Which healer are you going to pick in 10.2? What are you excited about? Is there a tier set bonus? Is there a class change that you're excited about? Please let me know. I would love to hear from all of you guys. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.